In the luxurious office of Alex Williams, a wealthy businessman, frustration hung in the air like an imprint on his face. Tension, a heavy cloud, hung in the air, left over from a sleepless night spent pondering the consequences of yet another reckless act by his son. "Carter, when are you going to realize?" Alex sighed softly, stroking his graying hair. The call from the police station broke the silence. Carter was back in trouble. There he was, disheveled and looking rebellious, bursting into the office. "Dad, it's nothing. Just fun." Carter tossed indifferently, as if ignoring the gravity of the situation. Alex clenched his jaws, fighting the urge to explode. "Carter, you're putting our reputation on the line. I can't take this indefinitely," he spoke in a subdued but determined tone. Father and son's words collided like two elements, heightening the tension in the room. Carter's defiance and Alex's frustration created an atmosphere full of unresolved conflict. "That's enough," Alex said firmly, his voice stern and unwavering. "You need to learn a lesson in responsibility, and if it's not the right way, I'll find another way." Carter brushed it off, a smirk sliding across his lips. "Any way you want, Dad. Do what you want." He cut off dismissively and walked out, leaving Alex in deep thought. Only the weight of parental anxiety and frustration remained in the room, pushing Alex toward the drastic measures he was willing to take to teach Carter to be responsible. Alex Williams, gripped by a mixture of frustration and determination, activated his plan. He didn't scrimp and assigned Carter to one of the strictest educational institutions in England, known for its rigid regulations and transformative effect on character. "Dad, this is crazy," Carter exploded when Alex presented him with the plan. "Military school? You think that's going to change anything?" His voice was full of rebellion, but Alex met his gaze unflinchingly. "Your antics cast a shadow over our entire family. This is your chance to learn discipline," Alex said firmly, as if to emphasize the seriousness of the moment. The discussion was long and tense, but the decision was Alex arranged the enrollment despite Carter's protests that echoed throughout their luxurious house. At the airport farewell, Carter burst out, "You want to control me, Dad?" But Alex, with concern and determination in his eyes, said, "I'm doing this for your future, so that you can become a man capable of taking responsibility for your actions." As the plane carried Carter toward his new life, Alex felt a heaviness in his heart. He knew that this drastic measure was an extreme attempt to awaken a sense of responsibility in his son. Though his heart clenched at the thought of separation, he believed it was necessary for Carter to grow into a decent man. In the busy corridors of his skyscraper, Alex Williams caught a glimpse of the peaceful diligence of Louise the janitor. Her quiet steadfastness in her routine duties awakened his attention. One day, giving in to curiosity, he decided to approach and start a dialogue. "Excuse me, miss," he began, noticing her carefully wiping the leaves of the houseplants. "Your dedication to your work cannot go unnoticed." Louise, slightly surprised at the sudden interest on William's part, put aside the rag and turned to him. "Oh, Mr. Williams, I didn't even notice your presence." "Thank you. It's important to me to keep this place clean." Alex watched her quiet industriousness thoughtfully before continuing. "You are to be commended for your work. But let me ask you, why did such a young and determined woman choose to work as a janitor?" Her modest smile widened slightly. "I'm taking night classes, Mr. Williams. This job helps me support myself on my way to getting and admiring her determination." Alex nodded. "And you do it with such attention that I didn't want to distract you from your business." "Oh no, Mr. Williams. Don't worry," Louise replied with a slight smile. "I'll be done in just 10 minutes. Alex, without letting her finish, interjected, You've already done more than enough. Everything looks immaculate. Maybe it's time for you to head home early tonight. This unexpected encounter sparked an intriguing acquaintance between Alex and Louise, beginning a series of events that soon opened up amazing possibilities for them. As Alex deepened his knowledge of Louise, he became increasingly convinced of her extraordinary tenacity and desire for a better life. He was inspired by her determination, and one day, sitting in his office, he contemplated a proposal that could radically change her future. "Louise, I've been thinking," he began, weighing each word. "There's an opportunity in front of you, a chance for something more than just cleaning offices. It could change your life." Her eyes widened in surprise. "Mr. Williams, I appreciate your concern, but I'm satisfied with my job. It provides for me and my education." Alex leaned back in his chair, watching her reaction carefully. "I understand that, Louise. But imagine a unique opportunity that could open doors you've never even dreamed of. Think about it and let me know your answer." The suggestion hovered in the air as Louise left the room, full of thoughts about the unexpected twist. Alex sighed, realizing that he had planted the seed of an idea, and now all that was left to do was wait for her decision. A few days later, Louise returned to Alex, her eyes full of determination. "Mr. Williams, I've thought about your proposal. I am willing to give it a try." "What exactly are you proposing?" Alex smiled, seeing her willingness to accept the challenge. "Louise, I am offering you the opportunity to teach my son, Carter, life lessons. It's an unconventional offer, but I believe you can help him become a better man." Louise froze for a moment, realizing the seriousness of the offer. "May marry Carter," she whispered. "But if it can really help him and give me a chance for a better life, I'm willing to give it a try." Thus was born a union full of surprises and promising the beginning of a journey that represented a test of strength for Louise and promised to bring unforeseen changes in the lives of both. Louise, at first puzzled and consumed by mixed feelings in the face of Alex's unconventional proposal, found the strength to express her misgivings. "Mr. Williams, your proposal is honorable, but marriage to your son is a big decision. I cannot approach it lightly," she said, the tremor in her voice betraying hesitation. Alex nodded understandingly. "I appreciate your sincerity, Louise. It's a really unconventional request, and I didn't expect you to agree right away. Take as much time as you need to think it over." "I want you to be sure of your decision," he replied. As she left the office, Louise was engulfed in a kaleidoscope of thoughts. Alex's proposal kept her on her toes, and day after day she pondered more and more seriously the potential consequences of such an unusual union. Carter, for his part, was still in a strict educational institution. Alex waited for Louise's decision with manly patience, confident in the rightness of his path. And so, after much deliberation, Louise came to him with determination in her eyes. "Mr. Williams, I've thought about your offer, and I'm willing to accept it. If it will help Carter and give me a chance at a better life, I'm willing to give it a try," she said confidently. Alex smiled, appreciating her determination and willingness to take action. "Louise, I'm sure you have the necessary qualities to teach Carter life lessons. This arrangement may be unconventional, but sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the most valuable discoveries," he said, anticipating the beginning of their journey together. Over time, Louise and Carter began to adjust to their new reality. Louise's role in Carter's life was not an easy one. She had to not only be his fiancée, but also a mentor, a teacher, and perhaps even It was a difficult journey, full of obstacles and lessons for both her and him. "I can't believe I have to do this," Carter muttered grimly as Louise introduced the new rules. Why do I need someone to fix me? Carter, your father believes this is the best way for you to learn responsibility, Louise replied patiently but firmly, and we both need to make the most of it. As the days passed, Louise imposed discipline, insisting that Carter attend class and fulfill his responsibilities. He slowly began to accept a more structured lifestyle, though not without resistance. It's just ridiculous. I never agreed to this, Carter complained over dinner one night. Change often seems uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Louise replied calmly, correcting his inclination to be disorderly. Your father wants only the best for you, and I am here to help you find the right path. As time passed, it became apparent that Louise's efforts had not been in vain. Carter began to show signs of change, becoming more responsible and disciplined. He began to realize the importance of structure and order in his life, and perhaps even began to appreciate it. Was a long process, and each new day brought new challenges, but gradually Carter began to see the world in a new way. Louise, with her quiet strength and determination, became a support that helped him see life beyond his former privileges. Their union began with an unusual arrangement. Over time, it grew into something more than either of them could have imagined. The moment Carter recognized to Louise the significance of her influence on his life, there was a shift in their relationship. A relationship that began with reluctance and doubt turned into a source of inspiration and mutual respect. I never thought I'd say this, but maybe you are right, Carter said, transfixed by the new realization. I do feel the satisfaction of taking my life into my own hands. It's different, Louise, smiling back at him, confirmed. Change is hard, Carter, but you're proving you can adapt. Your father believes in your potential, and I'm here to support you along the way. Carter's transformation was the result of Louise's perseverance and his own willingness to change. Together, they overcame challenges, gradually building a bond that exceeded the initial expectations of their arrangement. Alex, observing these changes over family dinner, couldn't help but express his appreciation. You look different, Carter, more collected and responsible. Louise, you're working one. Carter, with a sense of humility, acknowledged Louise's contribution. Yes, Dad, I didn't expect to say this, but Louise really does help me see things in a new way. I needed to face reality. Louise, who had become an integral part of their lives, responded with a modest smile. It's not about changing you, Carter. It's about you realizing your potential and understanding how your actions affect those around you. Sitting in the living room, Alex looked at Louise with deep appreciation. Louise, I want to thank you for everything you've done. Not only have you helped Carter, but you've brought positive changes to our family life. Louise, humbly accepting his gratitude, replied, It has not been an easy journey, but I have always believed in the possibility of a second chance. Carter really has a lot of potential, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of his transformation. Over time, laughter, shared responsibilities, and genuine affection became part of their family life. Louise, who originally entered their world as a cleaning lady, was now an integral member of the family, bridging gaps and strengthening bonds when unexpected events took an unexpected. One day when Alex received a call from Carter, he heard the news. Dad, I have to tell you something. Louise and I have decided to get married. We have found happiness in this ordeal. Alex, stunned and overjoyed, replied, Well, I've always said that sometimes the most unconventional paths lead to the most meaningful places. I am very happy for both of you. Thus, as a result of the unconventional start to their relationship, a strong and happy family was formed. Louise and Carter's story was a reminder that unexpected connections and second chances can open doors to bright new chapters in life.